Check 1 2, check 1 2. Can everybody hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can everybody hear me now? What about now? Sound? Can you hear sound? Sound? Beautiful. Okay. So how's it going, my lovely friends? Is everybody doing good today? I'm going to open my Google Sheet this morning because today we're going to tackle the weaker hand, okay? For me, that is the left hand. For some of you, could be the right hand, but for me, it's going to be the left hand. So let me just open my Google Sheet. Thanks, guys, for bearing with me. Okay. 2 2 2 2 2 2. Come on, Google. Beautiful. Okay. Open. Okay. So, today, everybody, we are going to tackle working on your weaker hand. I'm going to open my PDF right over here. Okay. Now, I need to do a PSA, a public service announcement over here. Does anybody like my sweater? Anybody like my sweater? Can anybody see my sweater? Can you see my sweater? Do you like my sweater? And do you like this poster behind me? I know you can't see the top, but like that's my face at the top. And check my tights out. Check these out. These are custom tights, okay? So, check this. And I got to tell you, I've been working on this merchandise for like 6 months. And for me, merchandise, it's like an expression of you, of the artist, of the person who wants to put the stuff out there. So for me, it's being very bold and just having a lot of fun. And I released this like 2 days ago. So if you're into it, do you like it? If you like it, go on my website, sarahthauer.com, and get your merchandise. Now, number 2, another public service announcement while we're all here. I'm doing a live show this Saturday. Finally, so excited. And if you're interested to check it out, you can buy tickets on my website. If you go on my website and type in shows, or you see on the tab shows, it's $15. Saturday, we're streaming at 8 p.m. EST. A lot of jazz standards, a lot of fun. So I just wanted to put that out there if anybody's interested. Alrighty, let's get right into this now. Okay. So, lovely people, today we're going to work on our weaker hand. And to me, that's my left hand. Please open your PDF. If you have it on you, you can download it right above. So when making this PDF, it's pretty interesting because I was like, I was talking to Sergio, the lovely man who's behind getting all the PDFs and stuff done. And I told him, let's label it right hand and let's label the weaker hand left hand. And he's like, you know what? Instead of saying that your left hand is the weaker hand, maybe somebody's left-handed and their right hand is the weaker hand. So how about we just label it, let's work on that weaker hand. So I thought that was brilliant. So whatever it is too, but to me, my left hand is the weaker hand. Now, if you look at your PDF, I'm looking at mine over here. Everybody have their PDF open. Now, let's look at number 1, A, B, C, D, E, and F. I want to say a couple of things about this. The exercises that I like to give, again, I work on them myself. And when I give these exercises out, there's a lot of room for interpretation and a lot of room for creativity, okay? So if you let's look at 1A. So ideally, your lead hand, your stronger hand, for me, it's my right hand, you can play 1A, B, C, D, E, F on your ride cymbal. I have like the second hat or this hat. So you make your choice where you want to lead with your right hand. So for now, let's do it on the hi-hat, okay? And let's quickly go through 1A to F. So if you look at A, it's just quarter notes. But now, when you see a quarter note can mean so much. A quarter note can mean this. A quarter note can mean this. A quarter note can mean this. So there's so many ways to approach a quarter note. So when you are playing even a quarter note, I highly suggest that you are aware of the feeling and the dynamic of the quarter note. Because when I'm playing a groove and I'm playing the quarter note, remember, the quarter note or the notes that you play is just an expression of what you're hearing or the sound that you're feeling. So lift that quarter note off the page. That's how I like to think about it. So you get to play it in a really musical setting. So let me give you an example, okay? Let me just play the backbeat on 2 and 4. So we're going to be working on this as technical exercises, but in my opinion, I like to combine working on technique as well as musicality because two of them should coexist. They should not exist independently. That's my humble opinion. So when you hit that stage, this is already embedded in you in a musical way and not so much in a practice setting and then in a performance setting. All exists as one. So when we're practicing, let's have our performance brain on. All right, guys? So if you look at the hi-hat, so I said quarter. So let me just hit a backbeat on 2 and 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Quarter note hi-hat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now look, the quarter note I'm playing is like on the, what is it, on the like on the side of the stick, so it's a little heavy. Now what if I want to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. So all of that makes a big difference. Okay, now let's move to B. So B is 2 eighth notes, okay? Now we're getting a little bit deeper. So what I'm doing basically is I'm doing two things. I'm taking what's on the paper and I'm orchestrating it with sound sources and I'm orchestrating it with different accents, all right? So 2 eighth notes. So if you're doing backbeat on 2 and 4, and don't mind the tuning of my snare, I've been changing heads all morning for my gig on Saturday and everything is kind of just a bit everywhere, so excuse my tuning. Ugh. Okay, it's kind of better. Kind of. Okay, so eighth notes on the hi-hat, right? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So when I'm doing this, I'm feeling it to be really, really sluggish, a little open. Now if I go 1 and 2 and 3 and... This is like, yeah, we're in the verse, okay? Now, let's go another way to do the accents, okay? We're gonna go, what? Hey! Little tight. Now maybe we're moving to part 2 of the verse. Hey, 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 hey. So starting out to play these exercises, what I recommend is that it's probably easy technically, but remember musically, sound sources, accents is very important. And when you're playing the hi-hat and when you're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and look at my tip. Right? Look at my tip versus this. And I like to be very, very, very precise with what I'm doing. 1 and 2 and 3. And make sure you have it all tight. Hey, hey, okay? Next, we have 1C. 1C is 1 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. So if you look at, is everybody looking at 1C? Do I have everybody looking at 1C? Can somebody say amen? I want to make sure we're all engaged together. Somebody tell me they're looking at 1C. Can I get an amen? Amen. Okay, thank you. Amen. All right, everybody look at 1C. 1/8 and 2/16. So remember, on the sheet of paper, it's very dry. So how can we incorporate 1C? And I promise I'm going to get to working on the weaker hand, but we have to establish the foundations first, okay? So let's look at 1C, 1 and a. How can we do it? So let's get creative. How about, so first let's play it just like simple. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, okay? So when I'm doing it like this, and especially if I'm doing it on the ride and I'm doing it fast, I used to just sit down and just work on this. And notice that I'm using a lot of my fingers. You can see I'm using my fingers. And my fulcrum is my thumb. And so when I'm... Okay, so that's just no accents, just straight. Okay, now let's add accent. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. So we're adding accent on the 8th note. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Or you can go on the bell. Or you can go here. Okay, so there's our two ways of playing it. So let's do 2 and 4 on the snare. Let's always start with that to focus on the accents and how we're playing our lead hand. Okay, so let's say 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Accent 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Oh my! Like I'm already having so much fun. Woo! Okay, see, check it. It's so musical. Okay, let's get into this deeper. You know, for me, whenever I play an accent, it evokes a feeling inside of me, and it's just like training your brain. Because remember, notes are just notes. You know, it's just so dry, and it's up to us to add that character inside of it. So let's add that character with these accents. Okay, so 2 and 4 on the snare, 1 and 3 on the kick. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey. Okay. Quiet. Loud. So, okay, I wanted to point that out. Now, next, we're going to go to 1D. Now, it's kind of backwards of 1C. Now we have 1E end, 2E end, 3E end, 4E end. 1E end, 2E end, 3E end, 4E end. And for this one, I like to add the accent on the last. 1E end, 2E end, 3E end, 4E end. Okay? Next, we have E. 16th note. So there's a lot you can do with 16th notes. You can just do like on the tip of the hi-hat, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. You can go 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. You can go 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. Or you can go 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. So there's so much room for accents. But do you see how these accents just add so much to the groove and take you to different parts of the song? Okay, and then the last one for 1, we have F. And this is just the ends. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So this is 1 to F, okay? Now, let's get into 2. So basically, to me, this is kind of like a puzzle. When Vihar says he really struggles with the accents on the hi-hats, that's good to hear. So I want you to work on this. I'm happy that you're struggling with something, because whenever you're struggling with something, that means there's room to grow. And for me, the potential to grow is way more important than the destination. Having that potential to grow is way more important than the destination. So I'm so glad. Really focus on it. And I want you to be very articulate and pay attention to the detail with the hi-hat accents. And you'll notice using your wrists, using your fingers, you know, if you're doing French grip, if you're going match grip. I like to go French grip because then I can have delicate, and then I can switch to match grip. So you have to figure out what works for you. Anyway, okay. 1 and number 2, I like to think of my exercises as systems, as the new breed. If you look at syncopation, stick control, you know, and it's like mixing and matching. So if you look at 1A, actually no, let's take it up a notch. 1A is a bit easy. Let's take it to 1C. Okay, let's take it to 1C. Now, what I would do is you pick one A, B, C, or D, or E, F, and then pair it up with 2 A to O. So if you go C, C A, C B, C C, C D, C E, C F, C G, C H, blah, 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 blah. Now there's 3 levels of intensity that we can take this up to. Is everybody on the same page as me while we're going through this? I'm going to take a sip of my coconut water. Is that okay? Anybody here like coconut water, or is it just me? I drank so much coffee this morning, so I'm just like, I need to stay hydrated, and you guys shall hopefully also stay hydrated. Okay, so let's get to work. Now we're gonna start at the beginning stages. Okay, so everybody with me. We're gonna take 1C, and we're gonna go through number 2. Okay, so I'm gonna go slow, and then we're gonna take it up a notch. Okay. So, and remember, when you're playing 1C, anything in 1, you have to be specific. Am I playing it with accents? Where am I putting the accent? So I'm going to choose 1C, and I'm going to add the accent on the 8th note. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a, okay? 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. All right, let's go to 2. Let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. See? 2A is quarter notes. Okay? 1. Now we're going to go to the E. No, we're going to go to the and, actually. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and back to quarter note. So look at this. This is improving your coordination, independence, and your fluidity. Okay, 1, 2, now end. And notice my right hand is not changing. So that makes my left hand having to move around. Does that make sense? Okay, now we're gonna go. Let's keep it rolling. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And E, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And E, next 1E, 2E, 3E, 4E. And E, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. E, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1 and 2, and next. 1E, 2E, 3E, 4E, E, and a 1E, a 2E, a 3E, a 4E, a 1 and a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a 1E, and a 2E, and a 3. I felt that. Anybody feel that struggle? La 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 la. Okay, somebody said they're lost. Okay, if you look at the sheet, what I did right now is I took 1C. Okay, I took 1C and I literally just read 2A to O. Does that make sense? Does that make sense with everybody? So you're taking a hi-hat pattern from number 1, a lead hand pattern that you can play on the hi-hat or on the ride, and then number 2, you just run through A and O with the chosen right hand pattern from number 1. Does that make sense with everybody? I'm looking at my iPad. Anybody confused? And if you're confused, submit it. I have my Google Sheet open there, and I will answer the question right away. If it's going to take work, I know. Do you want me to... okay, I can also play it slower, but I want to take it up a notch. If you can, afterwards watch it again. Okay, I wanted to take it up... Okay, actually, let's go step by step, okay? Now, let's do the same thing. Now, you know how we said we're going to add accents on the hi-hat? We added 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. So let's take it up, okay? Let's add accents to our snare drum, okay? I like to take things as far as I can with what I have, okay? So if you look at number 2, this is how I like to think about it, okay? If you look at number 2, there's many ways to play the snare drum. There's so many tones on the snare drum, and that's one thing that percussion taught me. Like when I used to play tabla, I couldn't even believe that this one drum, you can hit it with the tap, you can hit it open, and there's so many tones. So when I look at the snare drum, I'm like seriously, the possibilities are infinite, okay? So for the sake of the exercise and for the sake of getting this technical exercise done, okay, I want to divide the snare into 2 sound sources, okay? So we have the snare head, all right? And then we have the rim shot. That's our loud accent, okay? Now, if you look at 2A to O, what we are going to do is we are going to add accents only on the first note of every letter. So I'll give you an example. So if you have 2A, right? So 2A, you're just going to go 1. You're just going to play an accent because it's one note. So you have 1. Okay, this mic. Come on, this mic. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you have 1E, 2E, 3E, 4E, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1E and All right. Now let's move on to the doubles. Everybody look at 2E. Look at 2E. You have 1E, 2E, 3E, 4E. We're going to add the accent at the beginning. So that's going to be 1E. Wait, 1E, 2E, 3E, 4E. 1E, 2E, 3E, 4E. Now it's going to get hard, okay? Because check this. Now, if I add my right hand, I'll do it slow. So if I'm going 1E, 2E, 3E, 4E, 1E, 2E, 3E, 4E. Check that. I swear to you. It's going to make your hand. You're going to go ka, do, ka. And now, let's take it up a notch. Now, add the accent on the E. So we did 1E, then we went 1E. Now we're going to go 1E, 2E, 3E, 4E. We're just moving around accents, okay? So, again. 1E, 2E, 3E, 4E, 1E, 2E, 3E, 4E, 1E, 2E, 3E, 4E. And then, take it up another notch, 2 rim shots. 1E, 2E, 3E, 4E. And this will work on the dexterity of your left hand, especially like this. If I'm doing, all right, I'm gonna play some funky ghost notes with accents, okay? So that's basically what this does, is to really get your left hand. Is to get that left hand moving. So we did just 1E. How's everybody? Let me check the chat. Any confusion? Does that make sense? Any confusion? I showed you the application and I showed you the building blocks. And if it's hard to comprehend, like look, when I'm singing it, I'm going 1E, 1E, 1E. Like, don't be afraid to be silly. Like, I tell everybody, like, yo, who cares, man? If you sing it out, scream it out, I'm telling you, it will get in your body more. Like, when you practice, go 1E, 2E, 3E, 4E, E, 4E. Okay? So let me do it really slow. I think I'm too excited. Let's go slow. Let's just go slow. All right. 1, 2. Okay, we're going to go play 2A. No. 2E. Okay? 1E, 2E, 3E, 4E. You see that? 1E, 2E, 3E, 4E. And look how important it is to be precise. Like when I'm hitting the bark, 1E. Like that's how I started practicing this stuff. I didn't start. No. I started, okay. And I mapped it out. So you have to sit there and you have to map it out. 1E. Oh. Ooh. 1E. Ooh. So 1E and oh. Hi, okay. That's how that fits. Okay. 1E. All right. There. Now this makes sense. Ooh. All right. This is how I practiced. 1E. 2E. Okay. Now let's add accents on the snare. 1E. We're going to do that in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. 1E. 2E. 3E. 4E. Okay, now we're going to add the accent on the E. 1E. 2E. 3E. 4E. So do you see? It's so important to hear this independently, to hear it together, and to see how they coexist, okay? That's how deep you can get with this stuff. All right? Okay, so check this. Let's take it up, and let's now have fun with just the one E and add accents. Now work on our fluidity, okay? Hey, you want it, do it. Do it, hey. One E, the E. And a. Okay, got excited, I'm moving on. But do you see? Then sing it while you play it. Is my laptop moving? Oh, I thought that was gonna fall for a second. Woo! So does that make sense? Sing it while you're playing it. I encourage you, no matter how silly it sounds, sing it. Okay? This will be a struggle. Yes, it's going to be a struggle for some time. I'll tell you, do you know how long I've been working on this? I have been working on this, I swear to you, for like 6 years. I would say 6 years. Like, I still work on it today. This is not something that's going to come overnight. It's going to take time. And then let's say you want to take it up a notch, okay? Let's say now we want to make it three-way coordination, because now we're just doing two hands. And look, we only picked one C, and we only did one C with one E. That's all we've done so far. And look, just with that, how much time you can spend on that. So that's the issue that I have, is sometimes I have a tendency to spend too much time on one thing, but you want to keep it moving, okay? So to demonstrate how you can work on this, let's take one C and let's go through 2A to O. Let's do it slow, and I want to walk you through it of how I practice it, okay? I think it's important to zone in on one thing, but at the same time, like, move through everything, okay? Yummy, yummy coconut water. Okay. 1 and 2. All right. Everybody, eyes on the sheet, okay? Eyes on the sheet, look at 2A. So we're going to be running through 2A to O. 1, 2, no accent on the snare head. You can even go on cross stick. 1, 2, E. Now E. So for each permutation, we added some accents to give it some musicality. All right, now we're gonna go to 1E. Are you with me? Are you with me? Go. 1E, 2E, 3E. Hey, 4E, 1E, 2E, 3E, 4E, 1E, 2E, 3E, 4E, 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, and now check this one with the triples. So I'm adding the accent at the beginning of the triple. In the middle now, 1E-N. Sarah, 1E-N, 2E-N, 3E-N, 4E-N, 1E-N, 2E-N, 3E-N, 4E-N, 1E-N, 2E-N, 3E-N, 4E-N. butter chicken, butter chicken, butter chicken, butter. Butter chicken. I know. Butter chicken, butter chicken, butter chicken. Samosa, samosa, hey samosa, hey samosa, hey samosa, hey samo. Give me that samosa, give me that samosa, samosa, samosa. Okay, I'm having fun, but does that make sense? Like, what I literally did is that I ran through took one C, I ran through 2 A to O, and I played every possibility of having accents in each grouping, whether it's 2 notes, 3 notes, or 1 note. So what I would do is I would map it out. I mapped it out, okay? If you see E, 1 E, 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 E. Those are all your possibilities. So I think we've covered this. Like, does this make sense? And hopefully I'm not being too repetitive. I just want to make sure it sinks in. I'm looking at the chat right now. Everybody got this? Yes, that means everybody has to work on. I'm happy that you're not able to play it, because if you were able to play it, that means I'm not doing my job. So I want to give you things that is going to challenge you. So I am glad. So good. We have work to do. Yes, you all have work to do. Okay? I feel like I don't have to show every single exercise. I feel like I gave you the gist. You pick a letter from one. Those are all the right hand lead patterns. And you play 2 A to O, shifting different accents. Make sense? If you want me to show every single one, I can. Just if you can like send it to me in the Google chat, in the Google question sheet. And this is just the beginning. I mean, like, we're just doing it 2-way coordination. We haven't even like messed around with the kick. We haven't even like messed around putting it on the right and having the left foot. What I love about these exercises is that like it's like putting like puzzle pieces together, like a spider web. Like, it's just you can keep going further and further. But I think for now, work on this and work on the articulation. You know, sometimes we have a tendency to work on like, let's get it sped up. But you know, the funny thing is, it's not about speed. It's about how articulate you can be with the accent. E to E. So when the listeners are listening, they can hear, ooh, the beat, the quarter note is on the downbeat, or it's on the N, or it's on the and it's very articulate. You know, it's kind of like, it's like if a singer is singing. Let me think of a song. Oh my God, somebody give me a song. What song? If you have a song, okay. I'll be like, what do you say? Mary, Mary, or would you rather hear, Mary had a little lamb, a little lamb, a little lamb. Hey, Mary had a little lamb. The fleece as white as snow. And then everyone goes, whoa, we understand what they're saying. So that's how important this articulation stuff is just being very articulate. Okay, and let me tell you, like, and if you don't want to be articulate, and you're like, Sarah, stop forcing me to be articulate if I don't want to be articulated. So this is my 2 cents, okay? This is my 2 cents. If you want to do something, have the awareness of all the possibilities that exist, and that if you're choosing to not be articulate, be aware of what being articulate sounds like, and then make the decision to be not articulate. Because I don't like enforcing opinions on people. I don't like it. I don't like telling someone, you have to be articulate. You have to play like this. I don't like that. Because that happened to me. A lot of people told me things of what to do, and then it took away from what I felt like I wanted to do. So I'm telling you to be articulate. That's my opinion. But hear what articulate feels like. Some people like to be a little sloppy, a little bit in between the cracks. And if that contributes to your sound, and you are aware of articulation and not articulation, then don't be articulate. So I guess, like, all in all, I'm going to tell you, make this your own. But I also believe in flexibility to Be articulate and not articulate, so you have control to move either way. Okay, now somebody wrote they want to hear this on loops or play-alongs. Oh, let's do this. So what I do to make it more fun, I just pick up a loop like I did last week on Logic, or maybe I'll go on YouTube and I'll pick up like a popular song. So let's just go on our loop database here. Oh, this is cool. Everybody can hear that? Okay, this is cool. All right. Okay, so we're gonna go. Hey, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1. Just sit there with this. Hey. 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 Okay. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. E. 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 Okay, so I started improvising there. But pick up any loop. Pick up any metronome. Pick up any song. So it helps you lock in and it becomes fun. All right, so that's what I highly suggest. Let me open the Google Sheet. Guys, submit questions for me. I'm going to take a sip of my coconut water. Anybody's drinking coconut water this morning, or is it just me? It's so hydrating. Okay. Super J Ray. How are you, Sarah? I'm doing fabulous. How are you? Thank you for asking me. Any tips on doing left-handed or right-handed rim shots? I can only pull it off for about 2/3 of the time. Totally. So when working on these exercises, especially, so let's just take the 1E. So that's 2E. It's the first double, and I think it's the greatest starting point to work on. So if you're taking the 1E, so practice just with your left hand. Don't even have your right hand. So go from snare head. 1E, 2E, 3E, 4E, and then go 1E, 2E, 3E, 4E. And for me, rim shots, rim shots are supposed to hit the rim and the snare at the same time. But when I'm hitting the rim shot, can you see, like, when I'm doing this motion? It's kind of like a little oval. And sometimes I missed it, like I just missed the rim shot. But what I'm doing is, like, when I'm hitting the rim shot, my fulcrum is intact, like it's tight, like. So I have that control. So I would recommend, like, if you use your index finger and thumb as the fulcrum point, keep it on lock, wrap your fingers around, keep it loose, and then aim it. And then go 1E, 2E, 3E, 4E, then switch it up. 1E, 2E, 3E. And when you're going 1E, you're going to notice there's like, you're like, look at my left hand, pushing back, forward. And when I'm going 1E, when I'm hitting the snare hit, kind of moving my hand back. And when I'm doing 1E, I'm hitting and I'm moving my hand forward. So I would say start really slow. And even just do this. Even if you're practicing your rim shots, I just take a popular song, and I'll just play eighth notes, and I'll just go, just play 2 and 4. I missed it right there. I'm like not a good example right now of how to hit rim shots. My apologies. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Just do this. Sit there with it and see how much control you have of your rim shots. And then add some ghost notes. 1E, 1E, and up. And what I'm doing with ghost notes, see, the 16th note permutation is literally like the drumming Bible. You can take this and apply it anywhere. Like right now, I said, let's work on rim shots with backbeat, and I just said, play the 16-note permutations around the backbeat of your snare. So this is now taking it up another notch to work on your weaker hand, on your left hand. Think about it. If you go 1, 2, 3, 4. Eat, 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 and, money, to eat. So that's what I would recommend. Like, work on it and work on the control. Make sense? Alrighty, next question. Bami Nokai. Please let me know if I said your name right. Hello. For the accents on the hi-hat, do you just change the hitting position, top or slice, or do you hit harder for the accent? Beautiful question. So for me, it depends on the genre that I'm playing. Like, let's say I'm playing maybe something. Microphone, come on, microphone. Let's say I am working on my right hand on the hi-hat, and it's going to be to maybe a chill song. And I'm just playing 2 and 4 cross stick, okay? Okay. And I want to bring up the intensity. Now, do you see what I did there? So I didn't want to hit it harder. I wanted the volume to be the same. I just wanted the accent to change. So to keep the same volume, I just drop my hand. And then if I choose to go louder, then you can add a little action, a little bit of hitting on the hi-hat. Or if you want to do all of it loud or all of it soft. So I would say accents, there's 2 ways to look at accents. I would say accents don't always mean volume. Like, accents don't always mean louder or softer. I think it just means emphasis. 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 Sa, su, su, sa, su, su, sa, su, su, sa. Su, sa, sa, su, sa, sa. Sa, mo, sa, sa, mo, sa. Sa, mo, sa, sa, mo, sa. Sa, mo, sa, sa, mo, sa, sa. Sa, mo, sa, sa, mo, sa, sa. Make sense? I'm craving Indian food. That's why I'm talking about samosas. Okay? All right, next question. Super J Ray. It seems like permutations is the key to so many things. 100%. I've been stuck practicing perfecting hi-hat permutations every day from your lesson a couple of months ago. I never moved on. Any tips on when to move on to the next pattern variation of an exercise? That is a beautiful question. I'm going to talk to you while putting on my Vaseline. You know, do you guys keep like when I'm playing drums, everyone's like, they have moon gels or they have sticks. I have 1 pair of sticks. I don't have any moon gels. But you know what I have? I have hand cream and I have Vaseline. Maybe that's the thing if you're a girl who plays the drums. We got to keep the face moist, and especially because I have a tendency of like moving my tongue around a lot when I play. So I find like under my lips it gets really dry and then I can't concentrate. So Vaseline, people. Okay. So what I would say in terms of perfecting a specific exercise. So this is the thing, okay? These exercises can take 10 years. If you watch Mark Juliana's Drumeo lesson, he talks about working on permutations even to this day. Even though he's like one of the best drummers in the world, he still works on them. So I would say don't aim for perfection. Aim to be able to do it and then put it away and then come back to it. And the thing is, like, if you're an obsessive person like me, I'm a very obsessive and perfectionist. So like I will sit there, I don't care. I will keep doing it for months and months and years, and I have to physically remove myself, and I have to tell myself enough is enough. Because it's like this, it's like my cat, right? She chases her own shadow, and she chases her own tail, so she's going to be running around in circles. And I'm like, Prada, I'm like, okay, now, no more. Because she eats so much food, and then she throws up because she's always running and jumping around. So she'll be spinning in circles, and she'll keep spinning. Then I have to tell her, Prada, no more. And that's what it is like. If you're practicing one thing with the expectation of being perfect, that's what it's like. It's this ongoing thing. I'm going to do it until I get it perfect. I'm going to do it until I get it perfect. And then you're going to realize that as you get to being a better player, your expectation of perfect gets up a notch. Then your level of perfectionist expectation grows even higher than that. Then it's like this never ending, when I'm ready, I'm going to move on. When I'm ready, I'm going to move on. Then as you keep growing and growing and growing, you're never going to move on. So I would say physically remove yourself and be like, all right, cool. This is the best that I can do right now. I'm going to write down the BPM where I'm at. I'm going to write down how I feel comfortable. Move on to the next thing. And you know what you can even do? I allocate maybe 10 minutes like per day. And 10 minutes per day every other day for that specific exercise. Because one thing I realized, putting something away and then coming back to it, in my humble opinion, is as powerful as constantly working on something. Does that make sense, and does that help you? So I'm so glad that you're working on these permutation exercises. But I would definitely say, don't work on perfecting it. I would say work on a multitude of things over a long period of time. Does that help? And if you want to follow up on that, add another question. Okay, another sip of coconut water. Yummy. Okay. Next question. Super J Ray, there are so many exercises I am trying to fit into my routine. Chops, building, permutations, syncopation, book styles, drum meal method, rudiments, etc. Any tips on which to include, exclude? I'm kind of frustrated with my routine. Beautiful question. Now let me tell you something about me, okay? Because I have very similar things. So there's a lot of things to work on. There's always a lot of things to work on. So there's a couple of ways to go about it. First is, why are you practicing? Easy question, and I know it's obvious, but why are you practicing? What's your goal? For me, right now, my personal goal is to work on coordination, to work on articulation, and to work on some speed and clarity around the drums. So I have my main exercises that I work through. And the problem is you can always go deeper, but you have to stop yourself. You know what it's like? It's like eating a bag of ketchup Lay's chips. I haven't had ketchup Lay's chips in like 5 years, because if I start eating ketchup Lay's chips, I will not stop eating ketchup Lay's chips. You can keep going and going and going. So again, physically removing yourself and say, you know what? I'm just going to work on 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and just do the permutations on the snare. That's it. Because then you know what you can do? This is where my mind goes when I'm practicing. When I'm done with 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, then I'm like, let's move the accent. You can go 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. But then I'm like constantly just working on moving the accents on that hi-hat is not coinciding or not benefiting my end goal, because my end goal was coordination. So how is working only on the hi-hat helping my coordination? So prioritize stuff. Prioritize stuff based on what you want, not on what you have to do. And like that's one thing that helped me in the long run. Yeah. You know, it's like when you're in elementary school or high school or university, it's like you have to write all these essays to pass. And I feel like I had this same mentality of when I'm practicing. I have to go through every single book. I have to learn every single rudiment. I have to do all of this. Until you realize that, no, that's not, absolutely not. Like, how many incredible drummers are so good at what they do? How many drummers are so good at one thing that they love? In my opinion, the secret to being a beautiful drummer is not perfecting all your rudiments. It's not perfecting all the accents on the hi-hat. And that's what I think our vision gets very tunneled. It's not about that. It's about what you want and what music means to you and what drums mean to you. And I would say restructure your routine. So what happened to me a while ago, especially when the pandemic started, I had a lot of these sheets, like 10, 15 sheets of like exercises or even more that I've been writing and working on for like 8 years or something. And then especially when you're home all the time and you're doing the same thing over and over again, everything starts to get in my experience, everything started getting very dry. And I ripped up my sheets. At the beginning of the pandemic, I literally ripped up everything and I threw it in the garbage. And I felt this breath of fresh air of forget what you have to do. What do you want to do and why? Because you don't have to practice rudiments. I didn't practice rudiments till I was 18. I was playing beats and grooves and what I wanted to. You don't got to do anything. And I bet you if you ask any drummer out there, like, nobody cares if you're playing a paradiddle with all the accents in the right places. Nobody cares, right? Music is about, oh, yeah, this makes me feel so good. That's what music is about. And we get lost in between, I need to get all my permutations perfect. It's not about that. In my opinion, so it's more important to bring that one accent alive. And you're cool with that? And you're feeling like you're done, you're sick and tired? Trust yourself, put it away, move on. Come back in 2 days. Come back in 3 days. This is not like math drills where everything has to finish you have to finish all the exercise in a certain amount of time. That's why I don't like math. You know what I'm saying? Because it's to finish all this. Nah, this is creativity. This is, trying to get into the zone. So give yourself, that movement of freedom. And everybody operates differently. I can't operate in full structures and 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes. Nah, I need that. So if this works for you, make your schedule like that while you practice. Or if the rigidity works for you, that's even good. So does that answer your question? And that's a very long-winded way to answer that question. But I hope that helps. D-Mac, what do you recommend for accents to start for beginners on this exercise? So D-Mac, so what I would say, so if we look at one A to F, I would say, so A, that's the quarter note. B is the one end. So even if you're a beginner, I think you can still do all these accents. Like if you look at 1B on your hi-hat, if you have the one and, 2 and, 1 and, 2 and. So I think, like, even if you're starting really slow, like from the beginning, this is what I was doing. I was going 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So I'll say even as a beginner, like, work on all the accents. For C and D, the most common accents for C and D are, for C, it's 1 and, it's on the 8th note usually. And D is 1 E and, 2 E and, 1 and a 2. So those would be your accents. And then for A to O, so think about this in levels. So the first level is playing all these permutations on the snare drum. Play everything with no accents on the snare drum while keeping your right hand going. Then add accent on the first one. So single is obviously 1 E and a. Then the doubles would be 1 E, right? Then and a. E and 1 and then triple 1 E and then E and then 1 and then 1 E and then 1 E and Makes sense? So I would say, yeah, just take it up steps and do it like that, and don't be afraid to sing it. No accents. One accent. Then the accent on the other side. So if you're going no accent, 1 E. Accent at the beginning, 1 E. Accent at the end, 1 E. And then both accents, 1 E. Then after that, mix it. 1 E, 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 1 E. And then now you're working on fluidity and putting the puzzle pieces together so you have the technical facility to improvise. And I recommend everybody sing it, no matter how goofy you feel. I'm telling you, if you sing it, you can hear it and you can feel it. So it's funny thing is permutations, it's not about your stick. It's about what the E and feels like. What does the E feel like? Whoo, 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 whoo. Whoa, it's like a sudden stop. Hey, hey, what? Okay. Then you have ha, ha, 3 ha, 4 ha. 1 and 2 and 3 and now and is just like a bounce to me. And then quarter notes is like, yo, 2, I'm walking down the street. I'm walking down the street. I'm walking down the street. So along with the e's and uhs and all these accents on the snare, think about it as a feeling thing. So say it out loud and then play it at the same time. I hope that helps. Lil Sean Roberts. Would you say focus on technique first or just playing them? Because sometimes studying technique subtracts all fun from practice. So I would intertwine the two. So when I work on it, I would sing it first. Okay? So let's say again, I'm going to take the right hand this. And let's just start playing 1 E on the snare, okay? So you can make it fun. 1 E, 2 E, 3 E, 4 E. And just sit there. Turn on the song, turn on the loop, and work on it. And you know what the unfortunate thing is like, no matter like what you do in your life, everything sometimes gets boring. And not everything is fun all the time. Like, I'm having fun with you guys, but sometimes when I'm in the practice room, I'm like, why is the time going by so slowly? And I just like throw my sticks and I'm like, I'm done. Some days I actually feel like I want to quit. Like, I like to have fun and I do my best to be positive and have fun. But there are days where it's like, why I can't, what? Like, and I throw it. Or some days I don't even practice because I'm just like, I feel too mentally frustrated or I'm not getting where I want. So it's okay. Do your best. And if it gets boring, play to a song, play to a loop, sing it out loud. But allow yourself to find working on technique a bit boring and then maybe find a solution of how you can make it fun. I hope that helps you. Ryan O. I find it quite a bit more difficult to play these patterns on the hi-hat with the weak hand, open hand, verse on the snare. Not sure if it's just me, but also another aspect to work on. Cheers, you rock. You rock too, my friend. And that is beautiful. Yes. I've definitely tried to do that. But I'm bad at it. It is harder. It's so much harder because, especially the accent. Yeah, it's harder. It's much harder. Like when you look at Will Kennedy, or a lot of these guys who can do the left-handed, it's crazy. I can't, yeah. But that's definitely, if anybody wants to work on open-handed, I highly, highly recommend that. Thank you for the lovely comment. P-Dub. Hi, Sarah. Nice to see you. Thank you. So great to chat with you, and I wish I could see you. I noticed most of the pro drummers have small times that are resting. Okay, so have small toms that are resting pretty flat above the kick bass. My toms are 12, 13, and 14 with a 22-inch bass, and I just can't get them flat because of my height. Do you think it's beneficial to get the smaller toms to get a flat laying tom, or just put a little angle on the large and work with it? So this is funny you brought this up, P-Dub. So I'll tell you something. I don't know if you can see, but if you look at my tom, if you look at my kick, today's the first time I'm using an 18-inch kick. It's funny because I started with the 22, and then I'm like, I don't feel comfortable. I don't. I feel like I'm not settled. I feel like the drum feels like it's bigger than me. And then I put a 20, and I'm like, it's okay. But then I had this gig 1 year ago at a venue, and it had an 18-inch bass drum, and I'm like, I have not felt comfortable like this in a long time. So I'm trying to use the 18-inch bass drum for a while, and I'm using the Yamaha Stage Custom 18-inch, and it's like an affordable price. But yeah, and what I do in terms of if you're a small person and you want to use a big bass drum, if you look at Senri Kawaguchi, incredible drummer from Japan, she's so cute and so small, but her bass drum, I think it is a 22 or a 20. And what she does is like she lifts up her toms and she angles them. And that's kind of like what the fusion drummers did in the 80s, right? Like they lifted it up and then they angled them. So I feel like if you really like the big if you really like the big kick drum, yeah, rise and then angle it. That's what I would say. But like, yeah, I love my toms flat. So I'm experimenting with the 18-inch kick drum, and I've made it like I've put a lot of padding in there, so you still get that punch and it's not too boomy. I hope that helps. All right, I'm going to take one last question, my lovely friends. Lil Sean Roberts, can you tell us a bit about your mental approach towards drums and music? Yeah, okay. Ooh, I love when we get all philosophical. It's my favorite thing to do. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed as well. So, can you tell us a bit about your mental approach towards drums and music? So, in a nutshell, I would say, I would just say, in a nutshell, that music is just an expression. That's literally what it is. It's an expression of what we feel. It's an expression in a moment in time. It captures a moment in time where we are at or where the world is at. And, it's like I have these, you have songs that when you hear a song play, you're like, oh, I had my first dance there. Or, oh, that song was playing when I was walking down the street. And it evokes memories. And it triggers emotions. And it triggers feelings. And it makes us feel a certain way. I have this belief that whatever is not tangible, whatever's tangible is not as valuable as something that's not tangible. And when I say not tangible, that means something that you can't grab onto. Music is not tangible. You can't hold music, right? And that's something that's so powerful. Love, not tangible. And it's so powerful. When a person passes away, yeah, the body's gone. Because to me, a human body is like an instrument. Literally, it's a tool that can help us express. So when someone passes away, the soul is eternal, right? This is just a body. Same with drums. If I put these drums on the road and they burn or something like that, it doesn't matter. I mean, it does because it's expensive, but it's like, what do the drums signify and what sounds can they create and what feelings and grooves can they evoke and what does that make me feel? So that's like my approach to music and drumming, I would say. Yeah, I like the concept between tangible and not tangible. And that's what I strive for. And yes, it's important to work on technique. I work on technique all the time, and I work on right, left, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. I do it all the time. But then when I feel like, ooh, I'm getting really heady, I turn on a record. I spend time with my cat. And it's just to get in touch with your feelings. And then in that question from Super J Ray earlier, what's my goal? Why am I moving these permutations around? And then just keep your eye on the end goal. And it's not always going to be on this uphill journey where you're going to feel this bliss of, nah, man, I get pissed a lot of the times, Like, I get frustrated a lot of the times. But it's like, even in those times when you feel like you're stuck, there's a light there that you have your eye on. And that keeps me practicing. That keeps me going. That makes me want to create and just move forward and push boundaries. And okay, another thing, now I'm like talking a lot. And I would say one other thing in terms of music. One thing that I don't like is that, like, in the world it's very segregated in terms of people's positions in society, right? Like, some jobs are called A-list jobs. Some jobs are listed as D-grade jobs or not well-paying jobs. And it's like, why is only one type of intelligence rewarded? When I was in school, like, I have a twin sister. My twin sister was always, like, really, 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 really smart in school. And I was, like, not always, like, I wasn't good at math, like, and I didn't care for it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I went to university, I had, like, a 90 average because I loved what I do, and it resonated with me. But in high school, I'm like, I don't care. And whoever got, like, the highest marks in math, they get rewarded or they're noticed as the smartest kids in the school. But do you know there's different types of intelligences? Do you know that there's intuition? Do you know that playing with feeling is, in my opinion, like a type of intelligence? Why isn't that recognized? And one beautiful thing about the arts, and the most beautiful thing about the drums, and the most beautiful thing about the music, is that no matter how educated You are. No matter how good or bad your grades are at math, music doesn't. You can't grade like that. If someone plays the most perfect paradiddle on the snare, it means nothing. So, great, you played a paradiddle perfectly. Woohoo! But what's the context? How did that make you feel? So music has no judgment. Music has no, it doesn't segregate. You know, there's all, you know what I'm saying? Like you can be playing tabla or dholak or Indian percussion. You know, the folk players, the Rajasthani, like from India, like playing on the streets. The feel that they have, that they play. How can you find that in a book? How can you find that in a post-secondary education setting? So anyway, drums for me, music for me, brings the world together. There's no one type of intelligence that rules all. It has no priority. And that's my approach to music, and that's my approach to drumming and everything. There's no rules. Everybody is beautiful, and it's a form of expression. And in music, everybody embraces their own individuality. And you are and the funny thing is, with music, you are rewarded for being you. You are rewarded for your individuality. Whereas, you know, the world of academia, which is great, I love academia, but I'm just saying is that to be rewarded, you need to get straight A's. But here it's like, let me explore and be the best that I can be, and I'll be rewarded. Okay? That's my whole lecture for today. Okay, I hope this helps everybody. I had a lot of talking about this. Thank you for tuning in as always. It's always such a pleasure. I hope today was helpful. I shall see you guys in 1 week. Keep practicing the permutations with your left hand. And I would suggest sing them out loud, feel them in your body and in your soul. And I shall see you in a week at 1 p.m. EST. And I'm playing a gig on Saturday. If you want to watch us and tune in live, you can go on my website and go under shows, and you can check out the link and catch me playing with some awesome musicians in Toronto. All right, have a great week. Much love. See you guys real soon.